We are very excited to have the College of Engineering now here at HBU, and cyber engineering is a focal point. You know, it's something that we've had in our long-range plan for about 10 years, and I truly was looking for an opportunity. You just have to have the right chemistry of people that share that vision. One evening with Carl and Linda GLO, Carl mentioned that he had been involved at a sister university in engineering. And I said, well, I thought you were an accountant. And he said, well, but we were involved in engineering. And so he told me about the advisory council, and it just, at that moment, I knew it was just, call it an answer to prayer. It was intuitive, spiritual, but I knew. And so we started talking about it, and immediately Carl just became the de facto leader, and we developed an advisory board for engineering. But this is Houston, Texas. We need a College of Engineering. HBU's needed one for a long time, but we just looked for the right opportunity. The College of Engineering will have a great impact on HBU. We've had students for years, potential students, who would say to us, well, we want to come to HBU. You have engineering, don't you? And we'd say, well, no, we have a little bit of a pre-engineering program. And we lost many students who wanted to come be a part of a Christian university, but they didn't come because they were interested in engineering, which we understand. And interestingly enough, we had a lot of athletes. We played Division I NCAA athletics here, and we lost football recruits, and we lost athletic recruits in all the sports because we didn't have engineering. We think on Houston, the marketplace, for us to put engineers into the marketplace. But it's it came about today because today's an official commissioning service. So our board voted actually a few months ago officially to start the College of Engineering in September the 19th of 2017. But today was the commissioning service. We hired a dean, we have our first faculty member, we've got curriculum, we've got our application in for accreditation. The GLO company is so amazing. It really was just, we met them out of really because of one of their clients in the energy business. And so that's how I got to know Carl. This client is a great donor to HBU, and so we were talking to Carl in his capacity as an accountant. But the more I got to know Carl, then I just, even at a personal level, my wife and I have a we now have a business friendship relationship with GLO. We were so impressed with them because it's more than an accounting firm. They are people of tremendous values, expertise. They're a company that does a full range, a full menu of financial services. And so Carl just has helped us tremendously as a family. Now, I say all that to say the same reasons really apply to HBU because Carl knows so many people. He's a caring person. People love the GLOs, and so once we got Carl involved, he just brought with him this huge Rolodex of people. It's a network of energy and business just all across the Houston area. So it's a privilege to have this partnership with them.
So I was at another university for a long time, and when Dr. Sloan formed this engineering advisory board, and they were looking for a model. Some of them came to Louisiana Tech University and to learn how things were being done there. And that's where I met some members of the Engineering Advisory Board. But then almost 2 years later, one of them said to me, Dr. Neville, why don't you pray about coming down to be our founding dean? And so I said, well, I'll at least pray about it. And after that, everything moved quickly. Within a month, I had accepted an offer and was on the way to Houston. HBU wants to leverage some of the good things that are happening at Louisiana Tech University with project-based learning, very active environment. Students are working on projects from the beginning of their curriculum to the end of their curriculum. And so HBU is going to do something similar. But what HBU has that Louisiana Tech and other universities don't have is a very strong integration of faith. That's another foundation. You could say that engineering is founded on science, engineering, and other basic principles. Then these programs are also going to be based on information technology, computing technology, and so that's STEM, IT, and the third piece is faith. I don't think there's any other university that does a good job of integrating those three things. That's what we want to do here. In the Houston area, we know that the energy industry, oil and gas industry, and all of them have a cybersecurity concern, more than they once did. In healthcare, the federal government, one of their agencies recently proclaimed the lack of cybersecurity software and professionals as a major health concern for the United States. We have to help with healthcare, the maritime industry, and then all the others, financial, legal, education, many others, they all have a need. So there was a recent news story where Amazon was looking for a new location for their headquarters, and they had received bids from all over the country and outside the country, and they narrowed it down to 20 locations that they were going to choose from. Houston was left out of that top 20, and one of the main reasons is there's not a good digital workforce in the community. That's what the director of the Greater Houston Partnership said. So HBU is going to help with that. We're going to produce cyber engineers, electrical engineers, computer scientists that can help Houston meet that next big opportunity. Cyber engineering is relatively new, especially to those that have been around 150 years like the ones you mentioned. But cyberspace as a domain for technology, for business, even for warfare is relatively new. So just like our military has defined operations on land, on sea, in space, and now in cyberspace, almost every business has also to define how are they going to operate in that domain. So cyberspace is never going away, just like land, sea, and air is never going away. Carl has been a wonderful connector and encourager for what we're doing in this. So when he served as chair, as he serves now as chair of the Engineering Advisory Board, he knows people in the community that the college needs to get to know. He knows people in the community that the students will need to get to know. And he knows people that are going to help us form the foundation, get the support. And we need others like Carl on this Engineering Advisory Board to help us do that.
Well, I was privileged to be a part of the advisory board at the invitation of Dr. Sloan on May the 28th, 2015. And I happened to be the only engineer in the room at the time. And we had a discussion about the possibilities of opening a college here, and a discussion about, do we need another college of engineering in Houston? And indeed we do. The last one that opened was 1941, and we've grown by a factor of 10 in population with no new engineering colleges. So yes, I was privileged to be a part of the opening discussion about opening a college of engineering here. Well, as I alluded to earlier, Houston only has 2 universities that offer engineering degrees. Great universities, but the more modern one is 1941. And Harris County has added from 500,000 people to 4.6 million people. And so most of our students that graduate from high school in the area, most of them have to go outside the county, perhaps outside the state, to get an engineering education. It's a tragedy because there's some bright young students, Katy particularly, Sugar Land particularly, that are deprived of the opportunity to get an engineering education in their home city or their home county. Cyber engineering, I think, is important to the economy, but almost anyone who has a cell phone or a computer or a microphone has the opportunity or runs the risk of having that corrupted somewhat, and maybe not in a favorable way. I have a bank account that I'd like to not be corrupted. I hope my credit card continues to be valid. And I think we need engineers that are not just defensive, but who are taking more of an offensive stance and building more secure hardware, more secure software. But as you realize, the cyber engineering that will be developed here is only the second cyber engineering program in the United States. So it's evolving. The curriculum will change, not exactly daily, but as it needs to keep up with the technology. We're supposed to be the energy capital of the world, but we're having to do it with engineers that we import in from outside where we are. And we're bringing some good engineers, but why not educate our own here?
So Dr. Sloan and his wife Sue and my wife Linda were out at dinner about 3 years ago, and he said, I have this vision about creating a new college of engineering. And our volunteer work at University of Houston, I was the founder of the Accounting and Taxation Advisory Board, and it was very successful. That led to an invitation to help out with petroleum engineering, which wound up being very successful as the chairman and the founding chairman with the accounting board, and then the chairman of the Petroleum Engineering Advisory Board. And I told Dr. Sloan what we'd done, and I said, can I be founding chairman? And he said, sure. And so that was the beginning of an incredible, God-filled adventure. This has been a miracle from God. It has been a reason to be happy and get up every morning. It's been a reason to look forward to an incredible day like today that is the most magnificent blessing you could ever imagine. And so it's just given Linda and I so much more purpose to our life, and so much more meaning. And so we've just enjoyed every step of the way with it. Well, fortunately, we haven't had some of the incredible hurdles at U of H. To bring back petroleum engineering, the undergraduate program, we had to get the Higher Education Coordinating Board from the state to approve it, and they were all Aggies and Longhorns. And fortunately, I had on the board former Governor Mark White that was very instrumental. And Mark really did all of the backroom work to get the Higher Education Coordinating Board to approve it. And then after they approved it, we had to get each president of the respective universities to sign a piece of paper allowing us to bring back our undergraduate program. Within 4 years, it became the fourth largest program in the United States with 1,100 students. Incredible success. And once again, God was at work with that, and God bless Mark White for all that he did for us. So in a private university, we don't have those hurdles. As a private university, you can make your own decisions, create your own curriculum and programs, and this environment allows God to work, and here we are with a brand new College of Engineering, the first in this area in 75 years. Well, locally, it is Charles Baccaris, and in my opinion, Charles brought forward an article in the Chronicle on Amazon, dropped Houston from the list because we don't have enough high-tech workers. And so the response that HBU has is that we're going to start churning them out under Dr. Napper's tutelage. So we believe this is going to be a huge economic impact. And I believe because of the example of the petroleum engineering program at U of H and U of H Downtown's MBA program, they went from 50 to 1,400 students. I believe we can be at 1,100 students in 4 years. This will be the third time in not too much time that's happened. So having volunteered in a secular environment, University of Houston, and God wasn't on campus, absolutely it is a big difference. And I apologize to the FBI director when we were talking to him about the program, about being Christian-based, not knowing where the federal government agency might be. He said, stop. We're so happy that it is value-based. And so this is a huge distinguisher to have a Christian university in Houston that will be teaching cyber engineers a brand new degree. And this is huge. And therefore NASA, the Mission Control IT Security, and the FBI and the NSA and Chevron Worldwide IT Security and the ports will all be recruiting our students. So it's huge economic impact.